guys, this is a second video for showing you the plaits and braids mold that I have. So I've brought out a mold that has a variety of different plaits and buns, so you can make a range of different hairstyles with it. So I'm just going to use some Saracino modeling paste for this just to show you how to use it. Now I already have a video showing you some styles with this. I'll put a link up in the top corner now so you can see the existing one. And I've made some busts using molds that I already have so that I could show you the different hairstyles. It just makes it nice and easy to practice hairstyles if you've got a lot of sort of busts made up ready. So I'm just going to cover the top of this one in like a little bit of a cap first. So I haven't used the mold for this beginning bit. And we're just pressing it on around the head, almost giving it like a shower cap. And I want to use the little bun parts of this mold. So you see there's three little dots here, or three little circular kind of cavities. These are the different buns. Now you can push them in and just pull them out, or you can get them out with the help of a cocktail stick as well. Remember, always dust your mold with corn flour as well, just to help the pieces come out, guys. So depending on whereabouts I'm going to put a bun on the hair is going to depend on where I put hairlines. So on this one I'm going to put two buns on, so I'm going to put a line up the middle of the head, right from the forehead to the back of the neck. And then I'm just going to put a little dot on each side where I want those buns to go, and I'm going to draw lines from that dot to sort of the front of the head or the hairline, back up to that dot. And they don't all have to be the same line, you can do some longer, some shorter, and then we'll go from sort of that parting to the dots as well. We'll do the same on each side. And guys, what I'll do is I'll put links below the video to the products that I've used, including my molds, but you can just find it all on the Zoes Fancy Cakes website. Okay, so you can stick these on with just edible glue, but you might find the weight of them wants to pull them off, so you can use a small amount of a cocktail stick to just help hold them in place. But if anyone is going to be eating these, it is so important that you tell them that there is the cocktail stick in there. I wouldn't advise eating something that has got a bit of a cocktail stick in. And for the front of her hair, I'm going to add some plaits. So I'm going to use the large cavity for the plait. So it's up to you which of the plaits in this mold you want to use for kind of the front of the hair. Just make sure it's dusted with corn flour first to make it easier to pull out. And using this big one, I'm probably not going to need the whole bit of it, so I'm just going to nip off the bottom section of it. Just going to thin the end. And I'm going to press that from sort of the parting at the front of her forehead down to where the ears would be. Now I didn't bother giving these ears, but I thought it would be okay just for the hairstyles video. You would normally want to give your figures ears. Just pressing a little bit more of a line just up there, just so it brings it up to meet the hairline. Okay, I'm going to just stick around some ears quickly. Okay, so there's a style using the buns. Okay, so let's use this large plait again. So I'm just going to stick it on sort of in the top of the head, and we're going to take it diagonally across around the back of the head. So you can see it just coming around, kind of covering the join between the head and the neck and the back. Let's pinch it off. And then that little end bit that I've just pinched off is going to go back and start at the same point the first bit went, and then join at the back where I've pinched it off. Let's use a smaller, shorter plait. And I'm going to push this one just behind the ear. So with the chunkier bit starting up near the top of the head, then a bit down to the bottom. Now we might end up with some bits of scalp on show on this one. So what I'm going to do is just put in some thin pieces of paste on the scalp, anywhere I think there might be a gap. And I'm just going to use the same plait now to just sort of fill in the next bit. So another large plait, can you see that's gone alongside that first piece we put on? And let's put another one on, and I'm starting to curl it around so it just kind of fills in the gap at the back of the head. You can pinch it off anywhere where you think it's too long. Let's use that bottom end that's been pinched off to fill in that space there. You will find where you press hard with your fingers, you will lose some details like the hairlines, so you might have to just push certain little lines back in with your Dresden tool. It depends how soft your paste is that you've used as well as to how easily the hairlines disappear when you touch them. I'm using the modeling paste so it's fairly firm, so I can twist it around fairly easily. It's not too soft at the moment, but it depends on how hot your hands are as to how soft it gets. So we just coiled this one around, so it's just the large plait again. I'm going to add a piece into the top of her hair here. It's just like a little piece that I've pinched on. I'm going to put some water on, and then we're going to kind of insert or slot that coil that I made over that, or you can wrap the coil around that shape just to hold it in place. Now I'm going to give this one a bow. Because it's a mould video, I'm going to use a mould for it, and it's the mould that belongs with the mermaid tail. Again, I'll put links to this mould as well below the video for you guys. And I'm just using some pink modelling paste for that, and we're just going to press it just in front of that kind of twisty bit. So I just wanted to go for some styles that were a little bit sort of more out there than just a plain plait kind of down the side of the head. Okay, so let's do another one. So let's cover again in like a bit of a cap of hair. I'm just pressing it down a little bit with this little rubber-ended tool. I can never remember the name of this tool, sorry guys. Again, I'll link below the video. I'm putting in her parting like I did last time, but if you want to see some scalp, just press a little bit harder so that you can see a bit of skin colour. We're going to use this section of the mould this time. So it's a long plait again, but it's a slightly thinner, longer one. And I'm going to start at the front of the head, and we're going to take it round towards the back. And I'm going to cut it off where it meets the back of the head. Then I'm going to put my hairlines from the plait coming outwards towards like the front of the face and the hair, front hairline, so behind the ear and towards that centre parting. And we're going to repeat and do the same on the other side of the head. Now I'm hoping these videos are going to give you some nice ideas as well, guys, for using your moulds. Big thank you to everybody that has been purchasing the moulds. And I've been loving seeing what you guys have been making with them. You guys have been coming up with some great hairstyles. Okay, so we've done the other side the same. Let's just do another one of the same plaits again, and we're going to add a little sort of bun to the back of her head. So you can use the bun from the mould if you want, or we can make our own. So I've put a small ball of paste on there, and then we're just going to take that same plait and we're just going to wrap it around. Probably not going to need all of it, so we'll just snap it off there. Just attached it with water. You can use edible glue if you want. Okay, so there's that one. I quite like that one. So for the next one, we're going to take the smaller, fatter, sort of shorter plait that's on there, and we're going to press it on, but not starting at the top of the head, so not starting where the hairline would be. And then I'm going to take the one that's kind of a bit twisty. So have a bit of a play around with all the different shapes in the mould. You can see from what's on the board, I've used some plaits and some twists. And we're going to just start overlapping them. So pressing them on fairly near the top. She's going to be a bit bald at the top of the head at first. And I'm playing around with using a few different ones, just overlapping them. Now, as we come to the front of her head, start bringing them further up her head as we go along, till they eventually kind of join where your parting would be at the top of the head. The more of them you add, the more you overlap them, the more volume the head is going to have. Obviously, the more of them you make, the more time consuming it's going to be. And it might even be that you want to use a plait and put a little slit up the middle of it. So instead of looking like a plait, it then kind of becomes two twists because you've separated it in the middle. Of course, there is twists on the mould, so you can just use the individual twists. And there's that one all finished. So the mould should make it a little bit quicker for you guys to make the hairstyles. Obviously, you can do it freehand. Depending on the style, still depends on whether you'll need a lot of pieces from the mould, which can take a little bit longer than something really simple, than something that's just got a bun on the back. But there's all the different styles with this one. So don't forget, you can find another video for the plaits and braids, which I've already done, and I'm gonna, I think, make some more videos using the hair molds as well, just to try and show you guys some more styles. And don't forget to tag me in your creations using the molds. I do love seeing them. You can find me over on Facebook at Zoes Fancy Cakes and also on Instagram at Zoes Fancy Cakes. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment below. You can see more of my tutorials by clicking on the images on screen now. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my future tutorials. There are also links in the description box below where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram and more.